and less mess for you. So you can deworm more efficiently with less dewormer. And with peak blood absorption in only 20 hours, Synanthic blows away the competition and keeps working longer than the leading brand. Be a Synanthic man and get more deworming done with less dewormer. Visit your local animal health supplier and pick up Synanthic today.
Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA.
Ocala. Ocala, baby, what makes you look so good? Ocala, baby, what makes you look so good? Why don't you love me like I know you could?
All right, 5 minutes after 10 o'clock, Kelli Hart is in the studio. It's time for Ocala Magazine Radio. Kelli is the executive editor of Ocala Magazine, and she's the host of Ocala Magazine Radio. So how you doing, Kelli?
I'm fantastic.
They're not here.
You ask me that every Friday.
What do I ask you? How you doing?
How am I doing?
How you doing?
How am I doing? And I have to tell you, today...
How are you doing differently today?
I'm more fantastic.
More fantastic than ever?
Yes.
Is it because of all these Arby's people out here?
No, it is definitely not because of Arby's.
What's going on in your life?
I don't like Arby's.
What's going on? So something's better in your life
is
today
better.
than the last time I saw you?
Yes.
Well, this is good news. Mm-hmm. This is good news. So can I pry? Be nosy? No? That's a no.
Yeah.
That face told me, no, not really. I just want you to know. Does this mean you're on the happy scale, the happy meter?
I'm on the happy meter.
The happy meter is higher than it was?
It's way over.
There's somebody new in your life?
Maybe.
Oh, okay.
So.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, thank you.
Anybody we know?
If you don't, you should.
Does
you will. I'll say that much.
You're in the limelight. Does this person like being drawn into the limelight?
Yes. Well, no one is gonna fit well into my life plan.
Oh, don't say that. Why would you say
feel
that?
that same way? Well, because I'm a go-getter and that's me, and so I need a counterpart. I can't have someone that's just
no. You mean an opposite? You do not want an opposite. You want somebody like you.
Right. So I can't have someone I'm dragging. So I have someone that is
that
we're like
a go-getter.
A go-getter.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you want? What are you going to get?
Life, taking over the world.
Oh, okay.
Success and I don't know. You name it. That's what we're after.
And what can we ask what he does? What's it? Yeah, I'm being like a father figure here.
I know.
What does he do for a living?
Nope.
I want to know.
All is well. All the things that you would ask your daughter on the checklist.
Yeah, they're all good.
Check. Yes.
They're all good. He passed the test. Daddy says okay.
Yes.
How's mom? Does mom like him?
Mom loves him. And that's the test. That is
who
the
am
true
I?
test.
I'm nobody.
That's the true test.
What business is it of mine?
Thank you for asking.
It's so crazy.
So that's.
But the bottom line is, I'm happy for you.
Thank you so much.
Just tell him to mind his P's and Q's, because you got a lot of older big guys that are on your side.
I think that he'll be just fine.
He'll be fine.
I don't think you have to worry about it. No. So Friday is better. Everything's better, and Ocala Magazine is even better.
Are you doing something? Well, before we segue to that, are you doing anything this weekend with him? You going anywhere?
Yeah. We have some plans. We're gonna do a barbecue tomorrow.
A barbecue
at my family's house. So.
Is it beef or pork or chicken or?
I hope it's beef. Although my sister, with her weird random dietary concerns, will probably have some kind of, I don't know.
Does your sister look like you? Do you guys look?
Yes. We all look very, very much alike.
Are you similar in personality?
Not at all.
Not at all.
Night and day.
Really?
You can tell that we're siblings, and past that, you wouldn't know that we even know one another or that we had the same parents. Yeah.
Is Lily out of school?
She is out of school, and I'm grateful for that, but she's already bored. She's already told me 100 times she's bored. So.
Really?
Yes.
There was this camp we were talking about this morning in Wisconsin where the kids are not allowed to bring anything with them. And in fact, adults can go too. They can't bring any technology, I mean.
Oh,
so they have to play. They play board games. They do puzzles. They go swimming. They go canoeing.
That's
they go bicycling. They cannot have a TV. They cannot have, I don't know about radio. They might have a radio, but they can't have a phone. They can't have a tablet. They can't have any of that stuff.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
It's Arby's Day.
Sorry. Yeah, there's like 400 Arby's employees that just walked by.
What are they doing?
I don't know. Well, that camp sounds really interesting. I mean, I like the idea of board games and things that I did growing up that was so much fun.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, these days, kids, do they want to go to that camp? Or is it punishment? I mean, do they feel like that's fun?
I wonder. I would imagine it's fun, but I wonder if the whole philosophy is to have them socialize with each other.
I hope so.
Because isn't that what you remember from your childhood was the social time?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, well, we didn't have phones. We didn't even think about something like that.
So that would, to me, distract from or give me an escape. I see them out here all the time. I see young adults who work here in the mall come out here to smoke, and they're not talking to each other.
Nope. They're like
sometimes they are,
looking
but
down and
right.
And I'm guilty of it. I mean, we do live on our phones, and I mean, our calendars on our phones, and social media, and text messaging, and emails, and I mean, everything happens on our phones. I mean, I was able to watch church Wednesday night, from my phone. So,
right.
I mean, it's pretty awesome the way we can tap in and still live life and multitask. But at the same time, I think it does.
Do you know what song I don't
disconnect
like?
us.
That song, "Take Me to Church." Do you know the song, "Take Me to
I
Church"?
do know that song.
Do you like that song?
It's not one of my favorites.
Okay. When you hear it, you say, "Oh, that's a catchy song. I like this one." But then when you realize what it's about, you say, "Wait a minute. I don't like you going to church,
Right.
worshiping. Is he worshiping her? Or is she worshiping him? I can't remember. But they're worshiping their
wrong thing.
their love or
Right.
something, or their
Right.
their lust or something."
Yeah, there's a couple songs that reference church. There's a rap song that talks about if you're scared, go to church. It's a pretty
Well, that might
It's
be
a pretty vulgar,
that
but
actually-
it's not.
Oh, it's vulgar?
Yeah, it's pretty bad. So, yeah. So I'm not keen on those types of things. But yeah. So I mean, our phones are. I mean, even music. I mean, we can stream music, and I mean, we do everything from our phone. But it does disconnect us in some pretty big ways too. There's times where I'm talking to Lily. We're driving, and I'm like, "Are you listening to me?" And I look back, and of course, she's just on the phone. She's so into it, she's not even hearing what I'm saying. So we do have times in our day and in our home where we put
Off time?
we put the phones and the things down. Yeah, so we can just talk or be artistic or do whatever it is that we need to do to connect. So.
Do you know, whenever we compare technology of today to technology of yesterday, it occurs to me that if it had been thrust on us instantly, if we went from turntables to iPhones, okay, we might have rejected it actually, but because it was increments, little
Sure.
tiny increments from one technology to the next.
Sure.
It kind of lures us into it, I guess.
Right. And it's hard for me even to think back to a time where you couldn't just grab your phone and take a picture or send a picture. I'm like, well, how did we do that? I mean, I can remember growing up,
Right.
if my girlfriend was going to call, I'm like pacing in front of the wall phone, and heaven forbid my mom get on it and start
right,
talking
right.
to my grandmother, and I'm
Right.
looking at her like,
Do you know what I always wondered? Why did the old touch tone phones have a hashtag and an asterisk? Well, we didn't use it for
I
anything.
don't know, was it foreshadowing?
There's somebody new in advance. And I'm also trying to remember the dial phones. Is that before your time? The actual circle that you put?
Well, my great grandmother had a rotary, so I was she did. She had a rotary phone, so and that's when I needed to call.
Was
home.
there an asterisk on that? I don't remember.
I think so, because I don't really remember. I just remember it taking forever, and heaven forbid you dial the wrong one. You're like, I have to start all over. So I can remember the rotary phone. But it's awesome. Technology is brilliant, but at the same time, I think it's up to us, especially as parents, to still instill those things in our children that our parents did for us. So the board games and things like that. I mean,
Right.
I think those things, you just can't replace that kind of quality time, with your kids. No phone, and it just can't do it. So. But it's like reading. I work for a publication and it's a magazine, so there
Right.
are people who will get everything digitally, and there are those people that still love the luxury of being able to pick up the tangible book or magazine.
I admit I do. I
flip
like
through it
touching it. I'm fine with flipping through it online. There's a few magazines I look at online like that, but I like holding it. There's a smell to it. There's a
I love
there's
it.
a tactile thing or
I
whatever.
love it. Every time the books come in, I crack one open and I just smell it. But I used to do that in high school with my yearbook.
Right,
There's just
right.
this, I don't know, maybe I don't know. I just love the smell of like a fresh, new printed publication. So that's one of the things that I do. It's kind of weird, but I also like the smell of gas. So, but yeah, I love it.
Gasoline?
Yes.
Yeah.
I love when the book comes in it's just new and fresh. I do.
Why? Does it remind you of going on a trip or something?
No, I just think it's a unique smell.
I used to
don't know.
love the smell
I'm
of
weird.
diesel. I used to love the smell of diesel. I know, you made a face. Do you know why? I can tell you exactly. The same reason I love the smell of cigars. Because it reminded me of something good. Whenever I'd smell diesel, it's like, oh, I'm on a trip somewhere.
Oh, okay.
Because that's when you would smell, you're on a bus
Sure.
or behind a truck or
Right.
something. And cigars, my dad would smoke cigars when times were good. Like, we got people visiting, I'm laughing,
That's
I got a
awesome.
beer, and I got a cigar, and I would, it's a trigger
Well,
thing.
that's awesome. Yeah. No, that's great when it reminds you of something that's positive. I mean, the same thing can happen with bad things too. So it's good that those things are important to you. Yeah.
Yeah.
The magazine will be out Monday morning, and we're really excited. And of course, there's been this huge buzz all over the national news about Caitlyn Jenner and Bruce Jenner and the topic of transgender culture. And when the first interview came out, the very first one, several weeks ago, I was just glued to the TV and fascinated by it because I wanted to know more about it, obviously. It was something I knew very, very little about. And so I had the opportunity to reach out and speak to a few transgender individuals in Ocala and learn so much. And so I wrote an article called Trapped, which is in our June issue. A lot of people have already started to read it online and share it online. And so I just wanted to kind of talk about that topic a little bit today. Next week, I hope to have a guest with me so we can continue the conversation from the perspective of a transgender individual. But it's just been so fascinating how the world is just really focused on this topic, which, I've seen good and I've seen bad, and I've seen some pretty harsh stuff out there myself. But what are your thoughts on it? What are your?
Oh gosh, I can tell you my thoughts.
Okay.
I mean, I've thought about this, and first and foremost, don't bully anybody for any reason.
Exactly.
So let's get that out of the way. But B, I think that sex and gender are maybe not the same thing. Okay, and maybe gender is actually a man-made thing. Maybe that's a human design thing. Because if you think about it, God is an amazing creator.
Yes.
He created pretty much every species so that the male carries the sperm, the female carries the egg, right? The male puts the sperm into the female, and then she has the babies. Pretty much. That's the way it is.
Yes.
Except for the seahorse.
Right.
And in the seahorse's case, it's the exact opposite. The female is the one who has to do the injecting. And she's called the female because she is the one who produces the egg. Mm-hmm. So with that in mind, it's not the appendage that makes you male or female. It's whether you produce the egg or the sperm.
Okay.
Okay. So if you produce the sperm, you are a male.
Okay.
Now, that's sex.
Okay.
That's not maybe gender. Mm-hmm. Gender may be a social thing.
Right.
So if you want to have an appendage and dress like a woman, to keep it clean for radio, then so who am I to say that you shouldn't do something to make yourself happy?
Right. And there's been so much debate around it and trying to narrow down what really makes us male or female, because we've had the discussion obviously at the magazine just because.
But that is it. It's sperm or egg. If you make sperm, you're male.
Right. So some people have argued the hormones. Some people have argued the chromosomes. Some people have argued just simply biology and
science
and things of that nature. So it was a very, very interesting topic for me to explore because, well, I'm the type of person that I just like to know. I like to be informed and educated because, obviously knowing can help build relationships. And so I thought, I've never really even considered this. I've never, to my knowledge, met anybody who's transgendered, although I'm certain that I probably have just in day-to-day life.
Just don't know, right?
And I just don't know. But given the opportunity to sit down with someone and talk to them, even my interaction and talking about the past and then talking about now and transitioning from she and her and he. I mean, it was just a new experience for me, but a very unique one, but probably one of my very favorite interviews or things I've done at the magazine yet, because it was so new to me. And I really had to consciously think about respecting the situation and respecting that person's lifestyle and respecting their own belief system.
Right.
And which was very new to me.
And like everything else, if you get to know somebody who is that person, then you have a better understanding of that
Right.
condition, whatever it is. You know,
Yeah.
Robin's daughter dated a young man when she was younger, who is now a beautiful waitress up in New York City.
Wow, really?
Yeah. So he was a handsome guy here in Ocala, and he left and became a woman. And,
Wow.
and I remember the conversation Robin was telling me. He was like really scared to tell his parents
Yeah,
that
well.
he was now a girl.
And I think that's the part that that really hit home with me, because, you know, here you have these individuals that feel, and the reason that the headline was called Trapped was because in the interviews, that kind of seemed to be the theme. They either felt trapped in their own skin, they felt trapped in society's definition of what makes a man or a woman, they felt trapped in their fear of not being able to tell their family. And so to me, that was just kind of the theme of what I heard over and over in interviewing people. And the idea of not being able to live your life, regardless of whatever that may mean to you, made me feel really sad, because from what I understand, most of these individuals feel like they have to move away and seclude themselves in order to transition to live their life.
Let's take a break, and
Okay.
we'll be right back and continue this. We'll be right back.
All right.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. Sunshine and some clouds today. A shower or thunderstorm around mainly this afternoon. Our high 85 to 90. Any showers or thunderstorms will die off this evening, and partly cloudy later tonight, low 68 to 72. Partly sunny tomorrow with a shower or thunderstorm, high 85 to 90. A few showers and thunderstorms Sunday with a high of 85 to 90. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Steve Travis.
I think I sabotaged my efforts to have the best garden in the neighborhood because I told my neighbor about Kenny's Place Nursery, and guess what? Now she has the best garden in the neighborhood, so I got to get down there. And they have some specials going on right now. 4-inch pots of marigolds, 2 for just $1. 3 gallons of night blooming jasmine for $7. And don't forget the Society garlic, a gallon for $3.75. Kenny's Place Nursery is at 7677 Southeast 41st Court here in Ocala. Give them a call at 867-1213 for Kenny's Place.
Gene Powell Pasture Mowing, 352-629-2440. In addition to our pasture mowing service, we also offer fence row spraying. Now is the perfect time to get ahead on weed control for an overall aesthetic appearance. Gene Powell Pasture Mowing, 352-629-2440, or online at powellgene, Gene, at yahoo.com. We are licensed and insured. Gene Powell Pasture Mowing, 352-629-2440.
All right, 22 minutes after 10 o'clock, Kelli Hart bringing a really fascinating topic to the show. This is Ocala Magazine Radio, of course. So did you actually get to speak to some transgendered people?
Yes, I did. And
How did you find them?
Well, using social media, I put something out there about the topic, not even really thinking that it would turn into a feature story. I just, myself personally, kind of put a blanket statement out there about the interview and Bruce Jenner, and got so many responses, and had a few people reach out to me privately to tell me, you know, this would make for a great story because there is such a large number of transgender individuals in Ocala, which really was shocking to me, because I thought, Ocala, you know, we're so conservative, and you know,
That's the surface that everybody wants you to believe.
Well, right.
So the question, and this is everybody's question, but it's also maybe so private of a question that we shouldn't even be asking it. But we're doing a talk show. So the question is, I mean, do they, when they are transgendered, are they physically in their genitals changed or not?
Well, I mean, that's a huge topic.
You don't know. Did it come up?
Well, of course. I mean, I can't do an interview about transgender.
So you said, are you the same downstairs as you were?
I sure did.
Okay.
Yes.
And were they?
Well, one of the individuals that I interviewed is still a minor. So he's 14 years old.
Right.
And of course, at this point, not quite old enough to make that decision, and also financially, able to make that decision.
I would never advise this. Never.
Well, no. I mean,
You're wrong. You disagree with that?
I don't know if I disagree or not, because it's so hard. If you really feel trapped, I just don't know. I just don't know.
But the appendage doesn't make you that.
No, it doesn't. But I think the biggest thing, for example, so this young man, 14 years old, transgendered, every month gets a period. So every month he's reminded that he can't really be.
Okay, so he's
born a female.
Born a female. Okay.
Okay, but he's a male, and is reminded every month that regardless of what he thinks and he feels in his own body and his own mind, he's reminded every month that you can't be the male that you really want to be. Your body is reminding you that biologically, so, I don't know. I mean, the argument that I have heard so much is that people go out and they dye their hair, they get plastic surgery to enhance parts of their body, they work out and take supplements to transform their body and be fit. So where do we draw the line? What is acceptable and what is not?
That's individual is the ultimate answer.
Right.
But if you coming to me for an opinion,
sure,
which is all it is,
right.
I mean, every doctor we've spoken to doing this show says that the genitals that you get when you're done are not the same as it's not the same.
Well, no. I mean, nothing is.
And you're not going to have the experience if you're going to the other sex that the other sex really has.
Right. I can imagine that it's very costly, that it's extremely painful. I'm sure that the recovery and everything involved is just extremely painful and unpleasant, and then you're left with something that to me would still be a reminder that I had to manipulate my body to achieve even this. It's not, obviously you're not going to have your God-given parts if you manipulate them, and that's anything from dyeing your hair.
And how do you change your mind at that point?
Right. And
although, did you see this story? They're growing. I don't even know if you want me to say this on your.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
They've got this stem cell therapy. They can regrow the foreskin.
Really?
On the guys who've been circumcised who say, you know what, I really didn't want that. I had no choice in that. It happened when I was a baby. I'm going to regrow it. Now they've got this thing in a petri dish or something, which kind of and this morning there was a story about a rat limb that works. They took the rat's leg off and made a new one, not from the old one, but just made a new one, period, and attached the new one, and it worked.
Right.
So who knows? You might.
I don't know. I mean, it's really hard because sometimes I feel like society has started to play God, and we've started to do things with science that I'm not so sure we should be doing.
Right.
There
might be.
But then again, I always think about what if my daughter was in a tragic accident and she needed something that science could give to her.
You'd get it.
So so
sure.
I'm really torn. I'm really torn on that between science and faith, and I believe in both things. Obviously, I believe in science. It exists. It's there. It happens. But where do I guess put my eggs in which basket? So. It's hard for me to ever just concretely black or white say I would never, because
smart position.
You never really know. So it was just a fascinating interview. I learned so much, and really the bottom line of this story is not to say how you have to feel about it or that you have to agree or anything of that nature. It's basically just to remind our readers that these people are individuals, they are sons and daughters, they are loved by family, and they deserve to be respected. And if they want to change their name, if they want to be called by a different name, if they choose to live as a different gender, then they have the right to do that. I feel like they have the right to do that.
But I have an opinion question.
Sure.
What is your opinion about the man who becomes a woman, and then the social commentary as to whether the new she is actually pretty or not? This was an interesting thing to me, because they were saying the Caitlyn Jenner now is a pretty one. So it's okay that she did it, but the ones that don't end up so pretty, they dismiss them. It's a weird social thing.
Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And when I look at Caitlyn Jenner, I don't necessarily see a beautiful woman. I'm still not, I guess I'm still trying to see through all that to see the person,
You still see Bruce?
I still do. Yeah. I still do see Bruce. And really, it shouldn't come down to do I transition because I'm going to be a pretty woman or I'm going to look like a handsome man or not. I mean, that's
look at
that's
Chaz Bono.
That's so beside the point at this point. But
a good-looking guy, isn't he?
Yeah, but so I want to continue this conversation next week with a special guest. But I want to encourage everybody. The tangible issues will be out Monday, so please pick those up. In the meanwhile, go to OcalaMagazine.com. The article, along with an entire amazing June issue, is online, and feel free to share that because like everything else, we only want to write to educate and inform, and we hope that it touches someone in some way, or at least gets a dialogue going.
Are you bringing in a man who used to look like a woman, or a woman who used to look like a man?
I am bringing in a woman who was born a man.
A man.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
All right.
So it'll be fascinating. So look forward to that. And please like us on Facebook, because we'd like to continue the conversation there. And we also have a bunch of other things that we're constantly promoting. So just stay in touch with Ocala Magazine.
Thank you, Kelly.
All right, thank you.
Great show as always. We'll take a little break. Be right back.
Like I know you could.
Fox News Radio. I'm Lillian Wu. The Labor Department putting out a solid job report for May.
Non-farm payrolls increased by 280,000 last month, sharply topping analysts' estimates. The unemployment rate came in at 5.5%, ticking up from April's 5.4% unemployment rate, but still near a 7-year low.
Fox Radio's John Decker. New claims about the federal indictment against former House Speaker Dennis Hastert.
A Montana woman has come forward.